New Madrid Seismic Zone. Why the middle of the US could be hit by a huge earthquake. When people think of earthquakes in the United States, many immediately think of the West Coast. But you will be surprised how many earthquakes also occur in the eastern and central parts of the country. Before 2014, Oklahoma held the top spot for earthquake activity in the contiguous United States due to a significant surge in seismic events. However, before this, the most active seismic area east of the Rocky Mountains was centered in the Mississippi Valley, known as the New Madrid Seismic Zone. And since 1974, seismometers have documented thousands of small to moderate earthquakes in this region, with scientists now warning people to get ready for the next big quake in Missouri's New Madrid Seismic Zone. So, what's causing the numerous quakes in the region, and how devastating would an earthquake be for this region? Well, join us as we explore why a huge earthquake could hit the middle of the US and what it means for the people living here. And without much ado, let's get into it. Overview of the New Madrid Seismic Zone. Right in the heart of America, the New Madrid Seismic Zone is a sleeping earthquake giant, far from the Pacific's rumbling edges, where earthquakes are commonly seen. Spanning states like Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. It's an unexpected danger zone that's never talked about. Unlike California's notorious earthquakes, the earthquakes here are quite a puzzle because there are no moving tectonic plates to blame. This makes the New Madrid area a fascinating yet unnerving area for scientists and a ticking time bomb for the millions nearby. Understanding the seismic risks associated with the New Madrid Seismic Zone is crucial, and this is not just for those standing on its soil, but for anyone relying on the lifelines running through the heartland. With highways, agricultural farms, dams, and businesses at risk, a big shake could rock the nation to its knees, economically and socially. Plus, the legendary quakes of 1811 and 1812 hang over us, a historical heads-up of what might come knocking again. But let's dig into the gritty details of this geographical enigma before we dive into its seismic legacy. Geological background. The geological activities of the New Madrid Seismic Zone began approximately 750 million years ago, during a pivotal era in Earth's history, when the supercontinent Rodinia initiated its gradual breakup. This event led to the formation of rift valleys, areas where the Earth's crust was being pulled apart. One such rift developed in what is today the central United States, setting the stage for the future seismic activity of the New Madrid Seismic Zone. However, unlike many rifts that successfully split continents apart, this rift failed to complete its division. Instead, it stalled, leaving a weakened zone in the Earth's crust. Over millions of years, this failed rift was buried under layers of sediment, obscuring its presence, but setting the groundwork for future seismic activity. Intra-plate earthquakes, like those experienced in the New Madrid Seismic Zone, are less understood than their interplate counterparts, which occur at the boundaries between tectonic plates. This distinction is significant because it challenges the traditional understanding of earthquake mechanics and distribution, which has long focused on the edges of tectonic plates where the Earth's crustal movements are more apparent and frequent. The forces in these regions can be complex and varied, often related to ancient geological processes rather than the more straightforward mechanics of plate tectonics seen at plate boundaries. In the case of the New Madrid Seismic Zone, the ancient rift that failed to split the continent entirely has created a zone of weakness in the crust. Over time, stresses build up within the Earth's crust, eventually overcoming the strength of the rock and resulting in an earthquake. These stresses can be influenced by the movement of the North American plate as it drifts westward and by the weight of the sediments deposited by rivers and glaciers over millennia. The seismic zone's location within the continent also means earthquakes here can affect a much larger area than similar magnitude quakes at plate boundaries. The solid ancient rocks of the continental interior allow seismic waves to travel farther with less interference, potentially impacting regions hundreds of miles away from the epicenter. Historical earthquakes in the New Madrid Seismic Zone. Now, The historical seismic activity within the New Madrid Seismic Zone is a fascinating and sobering chapter in the geological and social history of the United States. Among these, the 1811 to 1812 series of earthquakes stand out for their sheer magnitude, widespread impact, and long-lasting effects they had on the region and its people. These earthquakes remain some of the largest ever to strike the continental United States, illustrating the significant seismic potential of the New Madrid Seismic Zone. In the winter months, spanning from late 1811 to early 1812, the central United States was rocked by a series of powerful earthquakes, with the epicenters located in what is now southern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, and adjacent parts of Tennessee and Kentucky. Modern estimates suggest that these quakes reached magnitudes of up to 7.5, a size capable of causing extensive damage even in today's built environments. The series included 3 major earthquakes and numerous aftershocks, which were felt over an area of more than 1 million square miles, proof to the power and reach of intraplate seismic events. These events caused the ground to undulate visibly, rivers to form waterfalls and run backwards, and vast tracts of forest to be destroyed and submerged. The impacts of the 1811 to 1812 earthquakes were profound and far-reaching. They permanently altered the geography of the region, creating new lakes such as Reelfoot Lake in Tennessee, and realigning portions of the Mississippi River. Settlements in the region suffered greatly, with many buildings destroyed or severely damaged. Soil liquefaction led to the formation of sand blows and fissures, rendering vast areas of agricultural land unusable. The quakes also had a significant cultural impact, inspiring a mix of fear and religious fervor among the inhabitants of the affected areas and the nation as a whole. Following the monumental 1811 to 1812 earthquakes, the New Madrid Seismic Zone has experienced other significant seismic events, though none have matched the earlier quakes in intensity or impact. Notably, in 1843 and again in 1895, the region was struck by earthquakes that, while less severe, underscored the ongoing seismic risk. The 1843 quake, with an estimated magnitude of around 6.0, and the 1895 Charleston, Missouri earthquake, estimated to be between 6.6 and 7.0, were both felt over wide areas and caused considerable alarm and damage to structures. These events served as stark reminders of the region's vulnerability to seismic disturbances. The 1895 earthquake in particular had its epicenter near Charleston, Missouri, and inflicted significant damage on the town and surrounding areas. Buildings were damaged and destroyed, and the quake was felt as far away as Chicago, Illinois, and Atlanta, Georgia. Similar to the earlier quakes, the 1895 event also resulted in changes to the local geography, including waterways and landscape alterations. These subsequent earthquakes, while not as devastating as those in 1811 to 1812, contributed valuable data to the understanding of seismic activity in the New Madrid Seismic Zone, and underscored the need for continued vigilance and preparedness in the region. Now, you might be wondering, what are the implications? Geographic and economic implications. Well, the geographic and economic implications of the New Madrid Seismic Zone are deeply intertwined with the Mississippi River, which is a linchpin for the region's economy, culture, and infrastructure. This river, one of the longest in the world, not only shapes the landscapes through which it flows, but also supports various economic activities. However, its role in the region's economy also poses great risk, particularly given its proximity to the New Madrid Seismic Zone. The Mississippi River's importance to the economy of the central United States cannot be overstated. It is a crucial artery for the transportation of goods, with barges carrying agricultural products, raw materials, and finished goods up and down its length. Cities and towns along the river have developed into significant commercial and industrial hubs, relying on the waterway to access domestic and international markets. The river's fertile floodplains support extensive agricultural activity, with millions of acres of farmland producing a significant portion of the nation's crops, such as soybeans, corn, and cotton. However, historical earthquakes in the New Madrid Seismic Zone have demonstrated the potential for seismic activity to dramatically alter the river's course and disrupt its ecosystem and the economies that depend on it. For example, the 1811 to 1812 earthquake caused significant changes to the river's flow, creating new lakes and destroying the riverbanks. Such disruptions can have immediate and long-term effects on navigation, flood control, and water supply, posing significant challenges to the economic stability and growth of the region. Agricultural development of the New Madrid Seismic Zone is particularly vulnerable to the effects of soil liquefaction. The region's agriculture relies heavily on the fertile soil of the Mississippi River's floodplain, which is susceptible to liquefaction during seismic events. The 1811 to 1812 earthquakes demonstrated the potential for such events to damage farmland, destroy crops, and compromise the structural integrity of storage facilities and irrigation systems. The economic implications of such damage are profound, affecting not only local farmers and communities, but also national and global agricultural markets. Moreover, the infrastructure within the New Madrid Seismic Zone, much of which is not designed to withstand significant seismic activity, is at risk of extensive damage from future earthquakes. This includes not only agricultural infrastructure, but also roads, bridges, pipelines, and utilities that are critical for the region's economy and the well-being of its residents. There are also some modern concerns. Modern seismic concerns. The potential consequences of a major earthquake striking the New Madrid Seismic Zone today are grave and multifaceted. Given the widespread area affected by historical earthquakes in this zone, a similar event in the present day could have devastating impacts on a densely populated and economically critical region of the United States. The immediate human toll could be significant, with injuries and fatalities resulting from collapsing structures and infrastructural failures. Furthermore, the psychological impact on communities, already heightened by the relatively low seismic awareness in the region, could be profound, affecting the social fabric and resilience of the affected populations. Emergency response and recovery in the aftermath of a significant earthquake in the New Madrid Seismic Zone could also present formidable challenges. The wide geographical spread of potential impact complicates the logistics of delivering aid, conducting search and rescue operations, and providing medical assistance. The disruption of transportation and communication networks could severely hamper these efforts, delaying the arrival of emergency services and prolonging the suffering of those affected. Recovery would be a long-term endeavor, and rebuilding infrastructure, homes, and businesses would take years and require substantial financial investment. The increased seismic activity in the New Madrid Seismic Zone underscores the urgent need for comprehensive strategies to enhance building and infrastructure resilience, prepare for the potential consequences of a major earthquake, and address the challenges of emergency response and recovery. Only through such a multifaceted and proactive approach can the risks posed by the New Madrid Seismic Zone be effectively mitigated, safeguarding the lives, livelihoods, and well-being of millions of Americans living in the heart of the United States. And there you have it, an exploration into the seismic giant that lies in the middle of America. The New Madrid Seismic Zone is proof to the power and unpredictability of nature beneath our feet. But what are your thoughts? Are you surprised by the seismic potential in the central United States, or are you already gearing up for earthquake preparedness? Share your views in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video informative, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content.